The sun beat down on the high-security gates of Fort Bragg, one of the most secure U.S. military bases. The morning air was sharp, but the atmosphere at the gate was filled with the usual routine, guards checking IDs, vehicles rolling in and out, and the occasional laughter between comrades. It was just another ordinary day for the young gate guards, until an old man approached. He was frail, walking with a slight limp, his clothes worn but neat. In his trembling hands, he held out an ID card that looked suspiciously old. His face was lined with decades of hardship, and though his body appeared fragile, there was a steady determination in his eyes. "Sir, I need access to the base," the old man said softly, his voice cracked with age. The young guards glanced at each other and took the card. One of them scanned it with a smirk. The computer beeped, flashing a red warning, "Invalid credentials." The guard chuckled and turned the card over in disbelief. "Sir, this is fake. Outdated, at best. Where did you even get this?" "eBay." One of the guards joked loudly, and the others laughed. The old man didn't respond to their mockery. He stood still, his grip tightening on his cane. His eyes reflected memories the guards couldn't even begin to imagine, memories of battlefields where he had once stood shoulder to shoulder with men who never came home. But then, something unexpected happened. As the ID card finished its second scan, the screen blinked again, this time, not with "invalid," but with a loud top-secret alert. The machine beeped continuously, and a red security light flashed on the console. The guards' laughter froze instantly. Within seconds, the system flagged, "Priority clearance, notify command immediately." The guards stiffened. One stammered, Sir, please wait here." They no longer sounded amused. They looked at the old man with growing unease, as though suddenly realizing this wasn't a joke. Inside the base, the alert shot straight to the general's office. General Robert Harkins, a seasoned leader, furrowed his brow as the message popped on his screen. The system rarely flagged anyone as priority clearance unless it was someone deeply buried in classified history. He immediately picked up his phone. "Bring him to me, now." The old veteran was escorted, this time with respect, not mockery, into the general's office. The general stood as the frail man entered. But when their eyes met, something in the general's stern expression softened. "My God, it's you," General Harkins whispered. The guards looked at each other in confusion. Who was this old man? The general walked around his desk and extended his hand, his voice thick with emotion. "Sergeant Major Thomas Keller, I thought you were gone." The room fell silent. The guards' jaws dropped. Thomas Keller. The name itself had once been spoken with reverence in military halls. A decorated war hero, part of missions that never made it into history books, a man who had led his men through operations that shaped the safety of the very country they were now standing in. And yet, he had disappeared decades ago, never seen again, presumed dead. "I shouldn't even be here," Keller said quietly, lowering himself into a chair. "But I had no choice." The general frowned. "Why now, after all these years?" Keller sighed deeply. "Because the past never stays buried. And there's something coming, something I swore I'd keep hidden until the day I died. But I can't hold it back any longer." The challenges of the past began to unfold. Keller told them about a classified operation in the late 1970s, one so secret that even Congress had never known its full details. His unit had uncovered plans of a hostile foreign power developing weapons capable of mass destruction. The mission was successful, but the aftermath was buried under layers of secrecy. Keller had been ordered to vanish, to disappear, from the face of the earth, carrying the burden of knowledge that could spark global war if it ever leaked. He had obeyed. He lived in silence for decades, away from the world, away from recognition, and even away from his family. The loneliness was crushing, but Keller believed he was protecting his country. But now, he explained, those same weapons, long thought dismantled, were resurfacing. "They've been awakened again," he said, his voice trembling. "And the people who know how to stop them are mostly gone. I may be the last." The general leaned back, struggling to process the weight of Keller's words. The guards, who only hours earlier had laughed at the old man's ID, now stood frozen, guilt-heavy in their hearts. They realized they had mocked not just an old man, but a forgotten guardian of their freedom. But Keller's return wasn't without obstacles. The first challenge was proof. Intelligence networks had changed, files had been locked, and many who had worked alongside him were long dead. Without documentation, Keller was just an old man with a story. The younger officers dismissed him, whispering that he might be delusional. The second challenge was Keller's own health. Years of isolation and age had weakened his body. He wasn't the strong soldier he once was, and every step was a reminder that time was no longer on his side. Yet his mind remained sharp, his instincts as precise as ever. The third challenge was trust. Some in the government questioned his motives. Why reappear now? Could they rely on the word of a man who had been off the grid for decades? Despite the doubt, General Harkins believed him. I trust this man more than anyone in this room, he told the skeptics firmly. If he says there's a threat, we prepare. Together, they worked tirelessly to piece together the puzzle. Old codes. Keller still remembered unlocked files buried in digital vaults. His recollections of long-forgotten safe houses and operatives led to intelligence breakthroughs. Slowly, the fragments of truth came together, revealing a chilling reality. The weapons weren't just resurfacing, they were on the verge of being sold to enemies who would stop at nothing to use them. In the end, Keller didn't pick up a rifle. He didn't charge into battle like the old days. Instead, he used the one weapon age could never take from him, his knowledge. With his guidance, a new generation of soldiers carried out the mission he could no longer physically lead. They neutralized the threat, dismantling the weapons before they reached the wrong hands. The mission was a success. And though Keller never asked for recognition, the general insisted that his story not remain buried this time. A few weeks later, a quiet ceremony was held at the base. Keller stood in his old uniform, medals shining faintly on his chest. The same guards who had once laughed at him now stood at attention, saluting with respect. Their eyes held regret, but also admiration. When Keller spoke, his words silenced everyone. I don't want thanks. I don't want medals. All I want is for every soldier, every young man and woman who puts on this uniform, to remember, service doesn't end when the battles are over. Honor doesn't fade with age. And sacrifice is not something history should erase. We carry it, every day, until our last breath. Tears filled the eyes of even the toughest soldiers. The old veteran who had been mocked as a nobody was once again seen for who he truly was, a guardian of freedom, a man who gave everything in silence so that others could live in peace. As the ceremony ended, General Harkins leaned in and whispered, "You may have disappeared from the world, Thomas, but you were never forgotten."